Picture this: a person, meek and harmless, walks into the world with the belief that goodness alone will shield them from harm, that being gentle will suffice to navigate life's chaos. But here's the hard truth: the world is not kind to the weak. It is ruthless, indifferent, and often unjust. If you walk into that chaos unprepared, it will devour you, not out of malice, but simply because it can. Now consider another kind of person, a person who has cultivated strength, who has embraced their potential for power, even their capacity for destruction. This person, though fully aware of their ability to cause harm, chooses to channel it constructively. They do not lash out blindly, nor do they seek to dominate. Instead, they harness their inner monster, taming it, mastering it, and using it as a tool for good. That is a hero. The essence of being a hero lies not in the absence of darkness, but in the ability to confront it head-on. To be harmless is not virtuous, it is merely ineffectual. True virtue comes from having the power to harm and consciously choosing not to. Imagine the strength it takes to look your potential for destruction in the eye and decide, I will not let this define me, but I will let it refine me. That is the essence of moral courage. Think of the great figures in history, those who stood against tyranny, who fought for freedom, who changed the course of humanity. They were not meek. They were formidable, capable of immense strength, but guided by principle. They knew the value of discipline, of channeling their monstrous potential into something meaningful, something that serves a higher purpose. They were warriors, not in the sense of wielding weapons, but in their refusal to back down in the face of chaos. And so the path forward is clear. You must cultivate your strength. You must confront your fears, embrace your vulnerabilities, and acknowledge the darker parts of your nature. Then, with discipline and intention, you must learn to wield them, not as instruments of destruction, but as tools of creation, of protection, of transformation. Only then can you stand tall in the face of adversity and say, I am here, not because I am weak, but because I have chosen to be strong. The hero is not the one who avoids conflict, but the one who steps into it with purpose, who dares to wrestle with the chaos and emerge, not unscathed, but victorious. This is the call to action. The world doesn't need harmless people. It needs strong people who have mastered their monsters, because only they can transform the chaos into order. Harmlessness is often mistaken for virtue, but it is not. A harmless person cannot truly be good because they lack the ability to make meaningful choices. Their inaction is not rooted in moral superiority, but in incapacity. Virtue, by its very nature, demands agency, the ability to choose between good and evil. To lack the strength to harm is not a moral achievement, it is merely a condition of impotence. Without the capacity to do harm, a person cannot claim to have chosen not to. Imagine a sheep incapable of attacking a wolf. Its harmlessness is not a sign of moral high ground, but a simple fact of its nature. Now think of a shepherd, someone strong, capable, and armed with the tools and skills to fend off danger. The shepherd chooses to protect the flock not because they are harmless, but because they have chosen to wield their power responsibly. They could destroy, but they decide to defend. That is virtue, strength under control, power guided by purpose. True goodness arises when someone who is capable of causing destruction makes the conscious decision not to. This is where morality finds its foundation, in the interplay of strength and restraint, in the deliberate choice to use power for creation rather than harm. Strength, when harnessed, becomes the cornerstone of justice. It enables protection, allows for meaningful sacrifice, and upholds order in the face of chaos. Without it, what we call goodness is nothing more than weakness disguised as virtue. The world is not a kind place, nor is it fair. It is chaotic, ruthless, and often indifferent to suffering. This is a reality that must be acknowledged if you are to survive, let alone thrive within it. To assume that the world will reward you simply for being good or gentle is to walk blindly into the jaws of its chaos. The truth is, the world doesn't care about your intentions, your dreams, or your sense of fairness. It cares about strength to endure, to adapt, and to fight back when necessary. This doesn't mean the world is cruel by design, it's simply indifferent. Think of nature itself: storms rage, rivers flood, predators hunt, and nothing pauses for the vulnerable or unprepared. You wouldn't stand in a hurricane and expect the wind to pity you. Similarly, in life, if you face its challenges without the necessary strength, you will be overwhelmed not because the world is evil, but because it is indifferent to your weakness. To navigate such a world requires more than just hope or kindness. It demands preparation, resilience, and the ability to confront challenges head-on. Those who enter life's chaos unarmed, whether with physical strength, mental fortitude, or moral clarity, will find themselves swept away, not because they deserved it, but because they lacked what was necessary to stand firm. Chaos doesn't negotiate, and weakness doesn't inspire mercy. To live in such a world means recognizing its true nature and preparing yourself accordingly. The choice is stark: either cultivate the strength to face the chaos or be consumed by it. It is only through this confrontation that order can be forged and meaning can be found amidst the turmoil. Within every individual lies a reservoir of untapped power, a capacity for immense strength, and yes, even destruction. This is not something to fear or suppress, but to acknowledge and understand. To be strong, to be capable of significant action, means recognizing that you also possess the ability to cause harm. Denying this aspect of yourself does not eliminate it, it only ensures that it remains untamed, wild, and beyond your control. True heroism begins when you look inward and confront this potential, not to indulge it, but to harness it. Imagine a person who refuses to acknowledge their inner monster, their capacity for aggression or dominance. Such a person may believe they are virtuous, but they are, in fact, vulnerable to external forces that exploit their naivety and to internal impulses that erupt unpredictably in moments of stress or fear. Strength left unacknowledged becomes a liability. It festers in the shadows, waiting for a moment of weakness to assert itself in destructive ways. Now consider the alternative: a person who stares directly into their darker nature, studies it, and learns to control it. This person is not consumed by their capacity for harm, but instead transforms it into a source of power. They become disciplined, self-aware, and capable of using that strength as a tool for creation, protection, and transformation. They are not afraid of their potential for destruction because they have mastered it. They know when to wield it and, more importantly, when to withhold it. This is the essence of harnessing inner power. It is not about denying the parts of yourself that could harm. It is about taming them, shaping them, and directing them toward a higher purpose. A hero is not one who is free of darkness, but one who has confronted it, wrestled with it, and emerged stronger, more disciplined, and capable of wielding their strength responsibly. Mastery over one's inner monster is not just a path to personal growth, it is the foundation of true strength and moral virtue. Virtue is not the absence of darkness, it is the mastery of it. To be truly virtuous requires the capacity to make choices that matter, choices that carry weight. If you are incapable of harm, then your actions lack moral significance because there is no other path you could take. It is only when you have the power to harm but deliberately choose not to that you embody what it means to be good. This is the essence of moral courage, the conscious decision to confront your capacity for destruction and transform it into a force for good. Moral courage is not passive, it is active and deliberate, forged in the fire of self-awareness and discipline. It means looking at the parts of yourself that frighten you, the anger, the aggression, the potential for selfishness, and refusing to let them dominate or define you. But it also means not rejecting them outright. To reject them is to deny a part of your humanity, and in doing so, you weaken yourself. Instead, you must face these aspects of yourself, understand them, and learn to control them. Imagine someone who believes they are good simply because they avoid conflict or because they have never acted on harmful impulses. This is not courage, it is avoidance. Real virtue is found in the person who steps into the fray, fully aware of their capacity for harm and chooses restraint. It is found in the person who could destroy but instead builds, who could dominate but instead protects. That is where strength and goodness merge to create true heroism. To possess moral courage is to be dangerous and disciplined, powerful but principled. It is to recognize that your capacity for harm is also your capacity for change. When you master this, you become someone who does not shy away from responsibility, someone who stands firm in the face of chaos and injustice. The world needs individuals who are strong enough to confront their own darkness and brave enough to use that strength in the service of others. That is moral courage in its purest form, the ability to transform potential destruction into unwavering goodness. Throughout history, the individuals who have truly made a difference, those who stood against tyranny, fought for justice, and reshaped the world, were not meek or powerless. They were strong, disciplined, and capable, fully aware of the magnitude of their strength and the responsibility it carried. These figures were not saints untouched by darkness. They were people who had confronted their own capacity for destruction, who understood its weight, and who chose to wield their power with purpose and principle. Think of those who led revolutions against oppression, who fought for the freedoms we often take for granted today. These were not harmless individuals. They were warriors in every sense of the word, physically, mentally, and morally prepared to face immense adversity. They were capable of incredible destruction, but they channeled that strength to break chains, to stand against systems of exploitation, and to pave the way for others to live better lives. Their capacity for strength and power was not a threat, but a tool, one they used to challenge the chaos and bring about order. Consider the courage it takes to stand against a tyrant or a deeply entrenched injustice. A person who is harmless cannot do this because they lack the strength to stand firm. But someone who has embraced their own capacity for aggression, their ability to fight, can look oppression in the eye and say, no more they do not fight because they are angry or vengeful, but because they understand that their strength must serve something greater. They fight because they have a duty to transform the chaos around them into something better. The great leaders and change makers of history understood that strength alone is not enough. It must be disciplined and directed. Undisciplined power is destructive, but disciplined power rooted in moral clarity and guided by principle, is transformative. These individuals showed us what it means to be truly heroic, to harness one's inner monster and use it to fight for justice, for freedom, and for the betterment of humanity. Their example reminds us that to create meaningful change, we must first cultivate strength and then ensure that it serves a higher purpose. Strength without discipline is chaos. It is raw, untamed, and often destructive. To possess power without control is not a mark of greatness, but a recipe for disaster. True strength, the kind that builds, protects, and transforms, must be tempered by discipline. Without it, power becomes a weapon wielded blindly, harming not only others but also the one who holds it. Discipline is the boundary that shapes strength into a force for good, the framework that turns raw potential into purposeful action. Discipline begins with self-awareness. It requires recognizing your capabilities, both your strengths and your darker impulses, and understanding how they can be wielded. A person who lacks discipline is at the mercy of their emotions, their impulses, and their circumstances. They may have immense power, but without the ability to control it, they are as dangerous to themselves as they are to others. Like an untamed wildfire, their strength burns indiscriminately, leaving destruction in its wake. On the other hand, a disciplined individual takes that same fire and learns to harness it. They use it to illuminate the path forward, to forge tools to protect and sustain life. Discipline turns potential chaos into order, transforming raw energy into focused intention. It is the difference between a reckless fighter who lashes out at everything in their path and a skilled warrior who strikes with precision and purpose. The latter understands that restraint is as much a part of strength as action, that knowing when not to act is often more powerful than acting impulsively. Discipline also requires consistency and effort. It is not something you achieve once and then possess forever. It is a practice, a daily commitment to refining your character and your abilities. It is the willingness to do the hard work, to face uncomfortable truths about yourself, and to make choices that align with your values, even when those choices are difficult. Discipline is what allows you to resist the temptations of complacency, laziness, or unchecked aggression. It is what keeps you focused on your higher purpose. Without discipline, strength is dangerous. With it, strength becomes transformative. It is through discipline that you learn to wield your power wisely, to act not out of impulse but out of intention. Discipline ensures that your strength serves the right cause, that it builds rather than destroys, that it protects rather than harms. It is the foundation of true heroism, the bridge between raw potential and meaningful action. A hero is not someone who avoids conflict or retreats from chaos. A hero steps into it willingly, not because they seek glory or enjoy the struggle, but because they understand that some battles must be fought. The essence of heroism is not found in avoiding the storm, but in standing firmly within it, facing its full force and refusing to be moved. This is not recklessness, it is purposeful courage. It is the willingness to confront the challenges and dangers of life armed not just with strength, but with the clarity of purpose. Consider the nature of chaos. It is unpredictable, relentless, and overwhelming. It can take the form of external challenges, oppression, injustice or crisis, or internal battles like fear, doubt, or despair. A hero does not ignore these forces hoping they will disappear on their own, nor do they crumble under their weight. Instead, they step forward, fully aware of the difficulty, prepared to face it with strength, resilience, and determination. This act of stepping into the fray is what distinguishes a hero from a bystander. The hero knows that chaos cannot be avoided. Life is full of struggle, and there are no guarantees of comfort or safety. What matters is how you respond. Do you cower in fear, hoping someone else will shoulder the burden? Or do you rise to the challenge, knowing that the battle will be difficult but worth fighting? The hero chooses the latter. They accept that the path forward is fraught with danger, but they also understand that it is the only path to meaning and growth. It is not enough to simply be strong, you must also be willing to act. Strength unused is wasted potential, a sword left to rust in its sheath. The hero wields their strength deliberately, striking not out of anger or recklessness, but with precision and purpose. They are not driven by the chaos, but by their desire to bring order to it. Every step they take into the storm is guided by their commitment to something greater than themselves, a cause, a principle, or the well-being of others. This willingness to confront chaos, to engage with the struggle rather than flee from it, is what makes the hero not just strong but transformative. They do not fear the storm because they know they are capable of weathering it. They do not avoid conflict because they see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to make a difference. The hero steps into chaos not because they are fearless, but because they have the courage to face their fears and the strength to act in spite of them. That is the essence of stepping into the fray, of meeting the chaos with purpose and resolve. To transform into something greater, you must first confront the raw truth of who you are. This includes not only your strengths and virtues, but also your fears, vulnerabilities, and the darker parts of your nature. Growth is not born out of denial or avoidance, it arises from the courage to face these uncomfortable truths head-on. Transformation is the reward for this confrontation, but the process is neither easy nor painless. It requires you to step into the chaos of your own mind and soul, wrestle with what you find there, and emerge not unscathed, but stronger and more complete. The first step is acknowledging that vulnerability is not weakness, but a starting point for growth. It is easy to build walls around yourself, to pretend that you are invulnerable, to hide your fears behind a facade of strength. But true strength comes from tearing down those walls and standing exposed, willing to face your insecurities and shortcomings. When you confront your fears, whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, or inadequacy, you strip them of their power. What was once a shadow that loomed over you becomes a manageable challenge, one you can overcome with effort and resilience. But it is not enough to confront vulnerabilities. You must also embrace the darker aspects of yourself, the anger, the jealousy, the capacity for harm. These are parts of your nature, not to be eradicated, but to be understood and mastered. Imagine a wild animal within you, untamed and ferocious. You can try to cage it, but it will always fight to break free. Or you can learn to train it, to guide its strength and energy toward a constructive purpose. This process of taming your inner monster is not a surrender to darkness, but a transformation of it into something that serves you. Growth happens in the tension between who you are and who you could be. When you confront your fears and embrace your darker impulses, you create the opportunity to reshape them. Fear can become courage, anger can become passion, and vulnerability can become empathy. Each step forward requires effort and discipline, but with each victory over yourself, you become stronger, more capable, and more aligned with your higher purpose. Transformation is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process of facing challenges, learning from them, and adapting. Each time you confront the chaos within you, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your potential. This understanding allows you to step into the chaos of the world with confidence and clarity, knowing that you are not defined by your fears or your flaws, but by your ability to rise above them. Transformation through confrontation is the path to becoming not just strong, but whole, capable of facing both internal and external chaos with wisdom and resolve. The world does not need more people who shrink from their responsibilities, who passively watch the suffering and chaos unfold around them. What the world needs is strength, and not just any strength, but strength that has been earned through struggle and discipline. Strength that is not only capable of fighting back, but that is also capable of standing firm and doing what is right, even when it is difficult. The world needs individuals who have mastered their inner monsters, not those who deny or repress them, but those who confront, understand, and use them in the service of something greater. It is not enough to be capable of great power. What matters is how you choose to use it. Every person has within them the potential to influence the world, to affect those around them, and to change the course of their own lives. But it is only through mastering yourself that you can wield that power responsibly. The world needs people who understand that strength must be accompanied by wisdom, and that true power comes not from the ability to dominate others, but from the ability to protect, to create, and to lead with integrity. When you master your own darkness, you take control of your life. You are no longer at the mercy of your impulses, your fears, or your weaknesses. Instead, you become a force that shapes the world, one decision, one action at a time. You become the protector, the creator, the innovator who uses strength not to oppress, but to build someone who can face the world's chaos with confidence and poise. Those who have mastered their own inner monsters are the ones who step forward in times of need, who rise up when others fall, who face the storm and become the calm within it. There is also the responsibility of leading others. True strength, the kind that the world needs, is not selfish. It is not about hoarding power or using it for personal gain. It is about using your strength to uplift those around you. Those who have mastered themselves are not only capable of making their own lives better, but can also inspire and guide others to do the same. They become beacons of hope and stability in a world that often feels unstable and uncertain. The world desperately needs those who can see beyond the immediate chaos, those who are willing to put aside their own comfort and safety to serve the greater good. But service requires strength, the kind of strength that comes from being grounded in who you are, from understanding both your potential for destruction and your ability to create. Only those who have mastered their inner monsters can face the world's monsters, whether they are injustices, corrupt systems, or personal struggles, and come out victorious. By mastering yourself, you step into the role of a leader, not just of others, but of your own life. You become someone others look to for guidance, for inspiration, and for the assurance that it is possible to face life's challenges with courage and dignity. The world needs individuals who understand the profound responsibility of strength and who are willing to shoulder it for the sake of others, because it is through the mastery of your own power that you can truly make a difference in the world around you. To make a true difference in the world, you cannot simply pass through life reacting to circumstances as they arise. You must actively cultivate strength, embrace the complexity of who you are, and then use that strength to drive meaningful change. The world is full of challenges, injustice, suffering, and chaos, and it demands those who can confront it, not with blind force, but with purpose and direction. The call to action is clear: to shape the world, you must first shape yourself. This transformation is not optional, it is necessary if you are to rise above the mediocrity of passive existence and become a force that moves mountains. The process begins within you as you confront and understand your inner power, the potential to both build and destroy. This self-awareness is the bedrock upon which all true action is built. Once you recognize your capacity for harm, you can then recognize your capacity for good. It is only by acknowledging the darkness within that you can transform it, not into something to be feared or repressed, but into something that serves a greater purpose. Strength without this understanding is mere arrogance. It is only when you choose to take responsibility for your power, to discipline it, and to direct it consciously that you unlock the potential to influence the world around you. This self-transformation is not easy. It requires constant work, self-examination, and commitment. But the outcome of this journey is not just personal growth, it is the ability to act with intention, to step into the world's chaos with confidence, and to bring order out of disorder. You can no longer afford to wait for others to take the first step or for circumstances to align perfectly. The time for action is now, and it requires that you first transform yourself into someone who has the strength and wisdom to take action, not out of reaction or impulse, but from a place of deep moral clarity. The world needs individuals who understand that power is not just about the ability to dominate or control, but the ability to protect, to build, and to uplift. To make a difference, you must be able to stand firm in the face of adversity, to challenge the forces that perpetuate suffering, and to forge paths where none exist. You are called to act as a creator, someone who uses their strength to improve the lives of others, not just their own. And this is where your transformation truly matters, when you become someone capable of affecting change, someone who can step into a room and alter its course, or confront a crisis and lead the way out. The hero is not defined by how many battles they fight or how much glory they achieve. The hero is defined by their capacity to act when the world needs it most. This action does not come from a place of powerlessness or fear, but from the mastery of one's inner world and the wisdom to wield that strength for the betterment of the world at large. If you are to make a real difference, you must become someone who is not only capable of changing their own life, but someone who can shape the lives of those around them, and ultimately the course of history itself. This is the true measure of heroism, the willingness to transform yourself into a force for good and to use that strength to bring order to the chaos of the world. In the end, to become the hero the world needs, you must first become the hero of your own life. This journey is not easy, nor is it quick. It requires confronting your darkness, understanding your capacity for both destruction and creation, and transforming that raw power into a force for good. The world does not need passive observers or those who avoid their responsibilities. It needs individuals who have the strength, discipline, and wisdom to act with purpose, to lead with integrity, and to face chaos head-on. The true hero is not one who is free from struggle, but one who embraces it, knowing that through hardship they will emerge stronger, more capable, and more determined to make a difference. You must rise above your fears, master your inner monsters, and step into the fray when the world calls. Your strength, tempered by wisdom and guided by moral clarity, is the foundation on which real change can be built. The world needs people who can not only confront the darkness, but who can turn it into light. This is your call to action, to rise, to transform, and to wield your strength in the service of something greater than yourself. It is not just about becoming strong, it is about using that strength to shape the world. The hero you seek to become is not a figure born from perfection, but one forged through struggle, discipline, and purpose. The world is waiting for you to step forward, to confront the chaos, and to make a difference. It is your time.